Hey, it's Amicia Ramsey, and I'm on the Chris Gunther Show.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Chris Gunther Show. Thank y'all so much for watching. Remember to like and share. I would greatly appreciate it. I sincerely want to say thank you for all of your support. It means a lot to me. We are slowly but surely coming up on 600 interviews. So thank y'all for everything. Today, I am so honored to be chopping it up with somebody who, like, have y'all ever, met somebody one time and it just feels like y'all have known each other forever? I don't know if it's just a genuine thing or whatever the case is, but a few months ago, I was in Indy and I got a chance to cover this one event. And this person looked out for me like crazy. I'm going to hit on it a little bit. Without any further ado, the Chris Gunther Show welcomes from Wish TV multimedia reporter Amicia Ramsey. What's going on with you?
Hey, Chris, I'm so happy to be here on your show. As you mentioned, we met in Indianapolis and we definitely hit it off immediately. Just because from one journalist to another, we are on those red carpets, we're grinding, all of that. Like, it's kind of like one of those things, we all in it together. So it was amazing to have met you that first time, but you definitely remind me like of family, kinfolk, all those different type of vibes. So I'm happy to be on this show.
I truly appreciate you. And, before we go into all the Q&A and things like that, I do want to tell you thank you for what you did for me. I won't go into all of the specifics, but let's just say red carpets can get real crazy
Yes,
real quick. And
yes,
that's why you got to make sure that you just treat people right, keep your composure, because you
yes.
never know who can help you. You helped me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
No problem. I won't go into specifics either, but I will say that was like a lesson learned. Like, you showed like that grind. Like there was a particular interview that you definitely wanted, but you cannot give up on certain situations. So we were able to work together and put our minds together. And it was like I passed you the layup and then like you took it and slam dunked it. So like that's really how it worked. Like it was all you and I just helped to assist. So I was happy that I was able to do that.
I wish more people would do things like that, that actually want to help each other and just see each other grow. Because in this industry, particularly in this media space, when you look like us, everybody should want to help each other out. But the reality is that's just not the case.
Yeah, that's so true. It's unfortunate, however, when you do have people, like the thing is, I live by the principle that you treat people the way you want to be treated. And I always think that like, my blessings are also stored up in the things that I'm able to do for other people. Because there will be a time, a place where I'm going to need somebody to help me. So I'm one of those people that will receive help. Like I'm not someone who's going to be like too prideful and be like, oh, I'm this and I'm that and I'm this successful or I'm at this stage in life. Like no, we all need help. So the only way that I've gotten to where I am is because people decide to help me, and only way I'm going to get to that next dimension, next version of Amisha is people will have to help me. So I'm always here for help.
The help you provided for me that weekend was, when I tell you, that touched my heart, it did. Because coming from where I come from, in a sense, sometimes it can become a crabs in a bucket mentality. And there's not a lot of people from my hometown that can do what I do, especially on the level I've been blessed to do it on. So anytime I'm around others that are like-minded, that are just nice people and actually do great work, I got to get behind that and always tell you thank you. Because yeah, you do a lot of work, because Wish TV just ain't hiring anybody.
No, they're not just hiring any and everybody. It definitely takes some talent, some skill. I've been doing this for about 10 years, going on, like, I mean, it's probably stretching beyond 10 years at this point. But if I think about when I first started media, it's been even longer than 10 years. So professionally 10, but getting into the business, the craft, I mean, it started when I was a young girl, like writing poetry, writing in different publications, newspapers, and all that stuff.
100%. Because you were like, let's go ahead and hit on it real quick. You were born in St. Louis, and then you were
Yeah, born in St. Louis at Barnes Jewish Hospital. My mama always likes to tell me that. I'm a Midwest girl. I love the Midwest. Although I'm in Indianapolis, it's still the Midwest, so it does feel like home away from home. I grew up, I wouldn't say country, But Nelly, it's a little bit of country grammar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say our hers and our theirs and all that stuff like that. I slip up every now and then, even though I've kind of worked on my lexicon a bit. But
It's in you though.
yes, we're like northern country, if that makes sense. Like northern country, because if you get down to the real South, like you're getting to the Bible Belt, like Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, that's real country.
100%.
Scooch on up to Tennessee, they country, Kentucky country, but we like Missouri, Illinois country. So, yes, yes. But I grew up mainly, I mean, I'm definitely a city girl. My family is from Southern Illinois, technically. So I was born in St. Louis, raised in Southern Illinois. I'm not sure if you're familiar with East St. Louis, Illinois, but that's where my parents, they were born, well, not born, but they were raised in East St. Louis, and I was raised there for about up until the age of 5 years old before my family moved to O'Fallon, Illinois, which is a suburb outside of St. Louis, but it's right next to an Air Force base. So that's where I grew up near a bunch of military kids, had a wonderful upbringing. My parents are pastors in a small church in Southern Illinois, so I grew up in the church.
Me
It
too.
was mainly a family church, so that's a different kind of environment, but I have humble beginnings, and I love the beginning of like that. That's my foundation. That's home for me. Like my dad started his church, and we were in my grandma's house, like in the back, singing the hymns and songs,
Oh
and
yeah.
so that's how it got started.
Bunch of hand clapping, foot stomping, no
Yes,
organ, no
yes,
piano. Y'all
right.
doing
No,
old school.
exactly. That's old school. But like those moments for me, like you don't need, well, personally, I don't need all the glitz and glamour to like have a relationship with Christ. Like you can definitely like be in a family room and experience him in this fullness of joy. So I appreciate those times growing up.
100%. And I think when you're in this industry, your faith gets tested like
Ooh.
crazy. It gets
Yes.
tested like crazy. And I grew up in church too. I'm still heavily involved with my church now. So
Mhm.
it's something though, when you're a kid, you don't really understand all the stuff that they're instilling in you. And then all of a sudden you get older and you see it, you're like, wow, so this is what it all comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as a kid, you want to like grow up and or just like follow the ways of your parents. I will say at some point when I was in college, I was like, you know what, y'all do what you want to do, and I'm gonna kind of experience the world for myself. Yeah. I wouldn't say necessarily I strayed away, but I definitely wasn't as heavily involved in church as I was. But those were the times where I was really, I'm so thankful for those moments because like I know he was still with me even though I may not have been going to church like every day, which I don't think church, you have to go to church in order for the Spirit of God to be within you. But I just know without a doubt that He was with me no matter what. So I'm so happy to know that He's like, they always say He's the same today, yesterday,
And
and
forever.
yes, furthermore, forever. So yeah, but I love my churchy background, and I think that learning to embrace that has helped me to be an individual. It's also helped me as my like as an on-air personality or a talent because as a reporter, it was very like sometimes difficult because you have to be non-biased. You have to be, you see things, black and white, especially when you're reporting. However, I think if we all come to an understanding that who you are, how you grew up is going to reflect within your reporting at some point. It's as a perspective. I mean, I'm a Black woman raised in Southern Illinois. I have certain experiences, and that is going to show up in my journalism as well. So, not that I'm being technically biased, but I am showing up as who I am, and those lived experience help people to be able to relate to you. So there are people who are able to relate, and I think that once I leaned into that and felt comfortable with my beliefs and respect other people's beliefs, that allow me to really be who I am, Amicia.
Respect is key. And
Hmm.
the way I've also have viewed it too is when you live what you believe, you can respect anybody.
Absolutely.
And that's amazing. That's especially in this field. Like I've encountered several people who, I don't believe that they're Christian like I am, or I don't necessarily know if they believe the same thing that I do. But one of the things they've always told me, they was like, Chris, the reason why I rock with you, bro, is because you always show love and you always show respect. And Jesus said, you should know that you love each other, by the way you treat. I'm just saying. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. That I'm just gonna put that there.
No,
Drops.
that's so true. That's true. I actually was talking to one of my coworkers today, and you know, when you just walk in the light that you have, it will attract other people and other believers. So I'm so thankful for that, and having a boldness as well to be able to proclaim my faith. But I just wanted to like there are times where I encounter people in a work setting, or it might be outside of work, people that I'm interviewing, and it might not necessarily mesh with me, or they might just be a rude person. However, that thing what you just said, like you are supposed to treat people as you want to be treated. I mean, that's one of the commandments that Christ told us to do, like one of the greatest. So love yourself, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Love
And
thy neighbor.
it's a challenge to do that. Like I have to die to myself, my own ego. I have to die to, sometimes I don't always have the best attitude when I come to work, but I know that I have to treat somebody with respect, or I have to treat somebody with love. And it challenges me to do that.
100% challenges you. But if you think about it, challenges without challenges, nobody wins. Without challenges, nobody can elevate. You know, you've been challenged, I've been challenged, it happens. But hey, you know, you went through school, you graduated from University of Missouri,
Missouri, yeah. Am I
Columbia too. Yeah, I
at
did my
Columbia,
research little by
the
little.
Tigers, Mizzou Mafia?
Uh-huh.
All of it. Yeah. I mean, I had such a great experience at Mizzou. It was good because I learned a lot. And surprisingly, some people, I wasn't a part of the journalism program. I was adjacent. I did communications. I minored in Black studies and also film. I love film. From Quentin Tarantino films to one of my favorite producers, which probably a lot of people favorite film producers, Spike Lee, Do the Right Thing. I love that. One of his first movies was She's Got to Have It. Like, I love film. Back to Do the Right Thing, there's that iconic dolly shot with
Oh yeah.
Berg, and he says, "Wake up!" I'm like, I love that so much. Like, he will forever be known as one of the GOATs, greatest of all time. So Spike Lee, I mean, like he was just amazing. So I initially, like, I really, and I also love Black exploitation movies. So that's like your Dolomites and
Yeah.
Beer and all that, like Superfly, Shaft. I love those movies too because like it just kind of shows like Black culture in a different time.
You know what? Not only does it show Black culture in a different time, but it goes to show you at any point during the time, Black people, we gonna create something that's
Yeah.
gonna last forever. Like, and that's why one of the reasons why I feel that we have to always make sure that we pay homage to those that came before us, because we are living a lot of their wildest dreams.
Oh,
Years ago, there wasn't a lot of Blacks on TV. It actually wasn't a lot of Blacks in Indiana on TV.
oh
That's a
yeah.
conversation for a different day, but it's the truth.
That is so true. I'm also the president of the Indianapolis Association of Black Journalists, and we have this award called the Barbara Boyd Award. And it pays homage for a trailblazer. It's our Trailblazer Award. And essentially, a trailblazer is someone who shifts and changes the game, whether it be culture, opinions, someone that creates and carves their own way. But Barbara Boyd, many years ago, I want to say it was over 30 years ago, she was the first Black anchor in Indianapolis. So we honor her for her opening up that door for us. And now we see many more Black talent on air. So she was one of the first to do it, and we always have her back. She's 95 years old now, and she moves around like she's 25. So just amazing.
Ain't that a blessing to know that we still have a
Blessed.
queen around that is
Yes,
operating and moving like that? And people like
yes.
us, when we're around them, we gravitate because we want to learn. They're at that age, they can teach you way more
Oh
than you
yeah,
say something. So sometimes you need to just be quiet and listen.
absolutely. The most valuable thing that I learned from our older individuals or our more seasoned individuals is to quote unquote not sweat the small stuff. There are so many things that I get worried about in life
Me too.
and milestones, or it could be a huge situation on my plate right now. But they always just say, it's gonna be all right, baby. It's gonna be all right. And it's like, well, how can it be all right? But much older, have been through many different things, and it just says that you will weather the storm. You're going to get through it. So I always think about that, and it helps me go to sleep at night, not to worry about things, because I'm like, it's going to be handled. It's going to be okay.
You had mentioned that that you're the president of the National Association of Black Journalists in
The
Indy.
Indianapolis Association of Black Journalists.
Correct. Now, how did that even come about for you? And by the way, I appreciate all the love that y'all show your boy. Just want to put that
Oh,
out there.
absolutely. I mean, look, you
Just want to put that out
come
there.
on
What's
down to Indy. We missed you for our Meet the Media night, which would have been great. It featured Lindsay Davis. It was amazing to have an ABC Network anchor there. It also had Alan Henderson there, former IU basketball player, former NBA basketball player. It was just a time that was had. But the Indianapolis Association of Black Journalists is near and dear to my heart, just because I needed a space as a young journalist to have a group of people to help me be who I wanted to be, help me become who I am today. And they helped me with my reel, getting my look together, even my speech and vernacular. And I just have to be transparent. Depending on where you are, where you grow up, you may have a certain speech or a certain vernacular. And sometimes that doesn't always come across as professional in this society or this realm. So to help enunciate words a little bit, like they would just kind of sit down with my reel and say, hey, this is like, try to polish this up just a bit so you can look, that network quality, or you want to look like those individuals you want to be like on TV. So they just kept it real with me. So it was great to have the national organization, and then we have our local chapters. So I knew I wanted to be a part of something much greater than myself. I always think about people who give and have, like, my thought is to, I want to give and expect nothing in return, because there have been people who have given to me in my life, and they expected nothing in return. And that always made me feel good and like they really did something from their heart. So for me, IABJ is something that I give. It's a labor of love, and I expect nothing in return except the seeds that I plant. We were able to award 2 scholarship recipients, one student at Howard University. She's about to be an intern at the oldest African-American newspaper in Indianapolis, which is the Indianapolis Recorder, 129 years of a super rich legacy. We also were able to honor them as well. And another student, her name is Destiny Timms. She graduated from a high school here, Pike High School, and she was a senior getting into communications, but she comes from a single mother background, and she was able to speak. And she broke down in tears just because we were able to be in a position to help her. The mom said that, hey, we often don't have places where we can go and receive, like, whether it be funding or different aid. It was just great to have that as a little cushion or something to help just a bit to send her on her way. So we're so happy to do that. But I never asked to be the president. It just kind of, I would say it just happened, but it was just a showing up. Like when you show up for something and you commit to something, that speaks to others. And rest in peace to our immediate past president. His name is Vernon A. Williams. I started off IABJ as a regular member, and from a member, he asked me to get on a committee, and from a committee, I showed up, and it was really great for the board. We were able to work together. I was able to see kind of the insides of how an executive board works. And then from there, there was an opportunity for me to become the vice president. I was voted in. And then through more time, I was able to become the president through a vote as well. So I was voted in. So it was great. I never asked for it. It came to me, but I'm so happy that he saw leadership within me, and he saw that I was able to commit and that I was going to give it my all. So I'm just happy and honored to be in the position. I'm not a person that rules by title or anything like that. I get nothing from accolades. I get nothing from titles. It's just the fact that I'm able to be in position to help people.
You've helped a lot of people with that too. Like I said, yours truly, you've helped me. Like, even though I know we haven't known each other as long,
Mhm.
real recognize real.
Hey.
And, I also got it. Not only do I want to give you your flowers, but I also want to shout out Olivia West, because she looked out for me when I was up there too. So it's just something how you can be around people for just that little bit of time, but you could feel you can feel how genuine they are, and you can feel just love, and things like that. don't happen a lot, especially in this, field. But before you went on there, you also were working with Roland Martin too. Like, how did
Oh
that come
yeah.
about for you?
Yeah, yeah. So, and just shout out to Olivia West. She was
100%.
yeah, she was also a part of Meet the Media Night and amazing. I heard her skills as a host is
Impeccable.
phenomenal. Yeah, she's very outgoing, charismatic. People listen to her. She lights up a room. She has the it factor, and I'm so happy to see her in her lane and in just like God blessing her. I know and I see big things for her, and I'm just happy that that she was able to serve for us, and it's something I will never ever forget. So thank you to her. But yes, Roland Martin is actually one of my mentors. I've known him for as long as I've been in news. And I mean, he is an amazing journalist. He pushes back his personality. And he's also in the space of Black media ownership, which we don't have a lot of outlets like that with the Roland Martin Unfiltered show. And there have been some instances where I have been able to co-host alongside him a live audience in Chicago,
Mhm.
Illinois. We were at the venue that we chose was a restaurant. It was Black owned, and it was me, another individual. A few different people, but I mean, it was like a prosecuting attorney for Illinois was there, advocacy groups, just many different people. And we were able to talk about trending things, when I say trending, but what was happening in Black culture or Black American culture. And sometimes those stories get glossed over on the mainstream. So on his show, you're able to really highlight and to go in with commentary and to talk about some social issues. So I was very fortunate to be a part of Roland's show and also host at one point on his digital show. And it is not easy. Roland knows so much stuff. He's like a walking encyclopedia for everything. So being on his show, being able to host it, it was like driving a mothership. And I was just like, I just want to be able to land the plane. But I'm so grateful. But that relationship was developed through the National Association of Black Journalists, NABJ. I met Roland in DC when he was at TV1 at the time hosting a show. And from there, we just connected. But he was always, just like I was saying before, giving me the feedback. What do I need to do? How do I need to hustle? Know this industry, giving you the inside details that you might not, you just won't know certain things. You won't know until you know. And it takes people to who have gone through those doors to shed light and to actually help the generation coming forward. So I'm so happy that he's helped me, countless others. Angela Rye was on his show on TV1. He gave her first platform, and many, 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 many other people he has given a platform for them to be where they are today. So shout out to Roland Martin and all the things that he's doing with Roland Martin Unfiltered and the future of Black news media. We need people like him.
100%, but we also need people like Amicia Ramsey, who's doing an
Oh, thank
amazing
you.
job, and the elevation is there,
Thank you.
because, and I've said this earlier, but it's the truth. Stations aren't just gonna hire people just because they
Right,
look good, just because they sound good. There has to
right.
be something unique that makes them stand out, and here you are on Wish TV. You've been there for a nice little time now. Like, how did that process even start for you?
The process started, I came as a multimedia reporter. It's been a process of growth, and I'm so thankful because one of my prayers or one of my desires was to always be a multifaceted broadcaster. So I wanted to be able to do it all. And I'm thankful by the grace of God within my career, I've been able to do everything. But I've always had a desire to be a lifestyle host and entertainment host. That's what I always wanted to do since I was very young. But this journey at Wish, I never thought I'd be a lifestyle reporter for Lifestyle Live here. You can kind of see it in the background. I'm in our studio.
An
Um,
amazing studio, by the way, and congrats on
Thank
that
you.
interview you did with Marlon Wayne. Just want to put that
Oh,
out
thank
there.
you. That was great. That was my second time meeting Marlon, which was awesome. He's such a first off, funny individual, but someone who has lived life and has many experiences to share. After the interview that evening, I went to his stand-up comedy show as well. And he has a special coming out called Good Grief. And I can't wait to hear more about it. But it was just pretty much one thing that I took away from that. And I'll get back to how I got to be wanted to be in a lifestyle. But he said that he didn't become, he's 51 years old now, but he didn't become an adult until his parents passed away.
Wow.
And it's like once they passed away, he said, I had no one else to blame but myself. And when I mean blame, he had no one else, like all the things that he had done in life. And you
Mhm.
can't blame mom, you can't blame dad. You just have to take accountability for your own actions. And that really resonated with me because by the great, like, thankful that I have both my parents, but it's just to a point where it's like all you have to reconcile is just like with yourself. And for him to be at that stage at 51 years old and to be able to share that, I appreciated it. And, I love him from White Chicks to
Yeah. The
um,
Wayne's brothers.
Wayans brothers. Yeah, we're brothers. We're happy and
Happy and we're
we're singing
singing
and
and
we're
we're
colored.
colored.
Da,
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 da.
da.
Give
Give
me a
me a
high
high
five. Like,
five. Yeah, that's a
yeah, like I love all that. So, I mean, it's just cool to see like the grind and just knowing his family. Like he has such a rich history with like the entire Wayans family and them in comedy. I mean, they really are walking history. Like we have never seen anything. Well, we've seen some things like I think the Ring brothers, like they were like dancers back in the day. There have been families that have made impacts like that, but in our generation, this is the first time we've ever seen something like that.
It is. And, I'll go ahead and put this out here. This is just us having a little chit chat. I've tried
Mhm.
to interview Marlon a lot, and for some reason, I just can't break through, but I'm going to keep trying because you never
Oh
know
yeah.
what can happen. Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's a very like personable individual, and I think if you just reach out, like figure out what city. He said that his best show, one of his best shows, was in Gary, Indiana. So if you can get out to Gary, and just hit him up, I believe strongly that he'd be open to an interview.
man, there's so much more I want to talk about on that particular subject, but we got to talk off camera. That's all I can tell you.
Okay,
But
that's all we can
yes,
say.
that's all I'm gonna say about that one. But
Right.
from St. Louis to working with Roland Martin
Mhm.
to Wish TV to doing your thing with Lifestyle Live, what's next for you?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Honestly, I don't know. And that's okay. Like I've been at these moments in life where you kind of are on the edge of a cliff. That to me is a faith move. So like something, my faith is going to have to be activated to whatever that next is. But I've always been multidimensional. I started my own business, Asima LLC, which is a boutique PR company. I did that in 2020, 2021 when the pandemic happened. Before I actually came to Wish, I was doing that too. And something that I never thought that I would do personally. I always saw myself in broadcast, but I have my gifts are transferable into other areas. So I love to help people get their moment to shine on TV, to get their interviews, to if you have a book that's coming out, or you have a brand that you want to promote, or you have a new business that you want featured. I have I have the knowledge of what news people are looking for, of what the producers are looking for, to how to put a segment together. And the average person doesn't necessarily know how to craft that. So within my business, I was able to do that. And I'm hoping that at some point I'll be able to pick up my business again and to be able to help people. I love to help minorities, whether you be Black, brown, Asian, just those stories that are typically underrepresented in media. They need to be told. So there's a space for everybody.
100% there is. I just appreciate you for the little bit of space that, you've given me on today. I understand you're a busy woman, got a lot of things that, you got coming up. So here we are, coming to the end now,
Okay.
but here you are as somebody that has done a lot. But we also understand, especially in this interview, you've mentioned the word help. What piece of advice would you like to give to those that are coming up that feel like, man, you know what? I can't do this and I just need some help. Like, what advice would you give to them?
There's a movie called Love and Basketball, and Quincy says he can't do something, and his dad says can't should never be in a man's vocabulary. So I'm gonna say that first off, like don't put can't on something. Think about how can I do this? It may look different. It may not look exactly how you want to put it in your head, but the fact that you're making steps forward, progress is better than no progress. I definitely believe that people have to believe in themselves. especially when you're in an industry like broadcast, because there'd be many people who do not believe in you. I know there are people who don't believe in me and or didn't believe in me or didn't have the foresight to for me to be where I am. I mean, I can be honest and say I've been fired from jobs. I've been told I can never do hosting. I've been told that maybe I have a learning disability and I can't read on a teleprompter properly. I've been told that that I'm not the look that some people might want in their newsroom. So any and everything that you can possibly say about someone, I have experienced those things. It has not been a cakewalk at all. I've definitely felt like I've been in an industry that didn't love me back, that I love so much, which is one of the reasons why I choose to be in this industry and continue to go forward. But yeah, so my bit of advice is to keep going, to keep pushing, no matter what that looks like. Before I came to Wish TV, I was at a very low point in life. When I say low, I was just out of the business for a hot second. And my dad came to me and he was like, "You have to go back. Like you won't feel right within yourself if you leave a stone unturned." So I had to get back in the saddle after facing defeat and just do it again. Like failure is only permanent when you choose to stay down.
Right.
Failure is a part of success. So I would say that you can fail your way to the top because that means you're putting yourself in position for an outcome. And it might not hold on to the first time or the second time or the third time, but eventually by doing that, you're going to get to where you are. So I just say keep moving forward. I'm so happy and I'm thankful. I hope that somebody can take this bit of advice just to further themselves along within their journey.
I wish I could tell my audience what you told me and Indy, but I'm gonna keep that off the record because
Yeah.
that was just for me and y'all don't get to see that. Just saying. What have been some of the greatest moments of your career up to this point?
Oh, geez. There have been many, many highlights, but I'm just going to talk about one in particular, just because it's about impact. I was in Meridian, Mississippi. This was my second job as a reporter. And oftentimes we go on breaking news, and breaking news, like one of the reasons why I'm a lifestyle reporter is because I'm a very empathetic person that I feel when I go to crime scenes, when I'm out there, because I look at people, especially when they're Black people, like that can be my cousin, my uncle, my brother, my father, sister. It just affects me in a different way where I see myself. But there was a young girl, there was a shooting that had happened in Meridian, and this girl was maybe about 4 or 5 years old. She was shot in the head. And she was shot, and the mother, it was by a stray bullet, so it wasn't targeted at her, but the mother got her into a car and rushed her to the hospital. And they were just hoping that she had survived. So by the time I pulled up, I mean, I could see bloodstains on the driveway. There were family members there. And the first thing, usually at a scene, and you see the family reporter's job is to go get sound. And I have always told myself that I cannot come to somebody and stick a camera in their face when they just face something like death or destruction or their entire world has been shifted upside down.
Right.
So I offered, and I've never had anyone tell me no, to pray with them. And that family really appreciated it. So we got into a circle and we prayed for this little girl. And I could feel, the emotion, but there was also a peace. And I had hoped, I didn't say out loud, but I had a peace that things would be all right. So I left there. I reported the story still, but they respected me a great deal. And I did it within the fashion that respected the family, making sure that what I was saying was in line with them, because you don't want to offend people. So it was many years later, so that story aired many years later. The mother hit me up on Facebook and was like, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I was like, "Yeah." She sent me a picture of her daughter, like at her graduation, like she was going into like the fifth grade at that time. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like I remember that." And she was like, "Thank you so much for praying with us. We still watch you till this day." And she just sent me so much encouragement. So that moment, I just remember like a very devastating time, but the turnaround, like the bullet from the little girl's, it went from the back of her head and out her eye socket.
Mm.
She has her vision now. She's doing great in school, and the mother has her daughter to live and tell that story. So that to me was one of my greatest, I say greatest moments, but it's one that just had it was a full circle for me.
People will remember how you treat them. And
Oh
the
yeah.
fact that you were able to be there for somebody at their lowest point, yeah, you still had a job to do, but you're still human. That's something that I 100% respect. Before we jump up off of here, I
Mhm,
got to also give you your flowers on this. I remember when I was in Indy
mhm.
and, I was obviously there covering All-Star Weekend, all that good stuff, but I was also trying to cover other events and I saw one that you were hosting. I loved when they introduced your name and you was like, wait a minute, y'all gonna have to give me a better introduction than that. I was like, yo, she forever golden in my book for that. He was
Thank
like,
you.
nah, y'all not gonna treat me like this. Let's do this again. I was
Thank
like, yeah, what
you.
she said.
Yeah, you like, yeah, what she said, what she said. It was so funny because that event, it was a shout out to the National Basketball Wives Association. Like that was like Matt Barnes was there, Stephen A. Smith, many, many big names, right? And there's Amicia Ramsey. I knew nobody knew who I was. Like unless you was from Indiana, Indianapolis, you watched Channel 8, that's the only way you knew. So when I come up on stage, people are like, okay, let's get to the important people. But I was like, you know what? Like, let's get this crowd involved and hype and up. And I hit that and they were like, okay, we can rock with her for the rest of the day. So I appreciate that.
I loved it, especially because like I was chopping it up with Matt Barnes. I think I was talking to him a little bit beforehand.
Um,
And once I saw you were there, I'm like, nah, I gotta stay and just show some support because you helped me and I just wanted to pay it forward just in the best way that I possibly could.
Oh no, I appreciate that. I do. I mean, I live by that me casa e su casa. Like, what's mine is yours. My house is your house. So, like, anything little avenue that I have in Indianapolis, any networks that I have, I'm more than happy to do that because, again, like I said, like I open doors for people to walk through, and I know other people open doors for me to walk through as well. So, shout out to NBA All-Star Weekend. That was amazing.
It
I never
was.
have, yes, like from red carpets to hosting events. I'm just so happy to have to be involved with it. And I will say one thing that I'm looking forward to now, the Indianapolis Civil Rights Commission Indiana Civil Rights Commission has invited me to be their mistress of ceremony on in June, and Governor Eric Holcomb will be there. It's going to be a big event, and I'm really happy to be for that they thought of me enough to allow me to be their mistress of ceremony. So it's such an honor, and I can't wait.
Well deserved. Well
Mhm.
deserved. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
Appreciate you so much for your time. One of the last questions I always ask my guests because they never see it coming, which I love, and I put everybody on the spot, is who would you like to see me interview next on the Chris Gunther Show? And if you
Oh,
have any contact, you think you could help me get them. Shoot or shoot. That's what we do.
right, shoot or shoot. You know what? Now that I think about it, I mean maybe Roland.
Yeah. Let's go ahead
Martin.
and see if I get him back.
Roro, Uncle Roro. I think he'd be a great interview, especially you put it together some different subjects. He can go off the cuff and talk about any and everything.
Yes, he can. Like I interviewed him back in 2019, but
Oh, you got
I'm
him already.
pretty
Okay.
sure. Nah, but here's the thing. It was like a quick thing, like 3 minute interview. I don't think he remembers me, which is cool, but I
Uh-huh.
dag sure remember him. So just saying, if I could get him in a setting like this for more than 3 minutes, just hey, Unc, holla at your boy, man.
Right.
Holla at your boy.
Wow. Right. I would like that. But another person, if we can't do Shannon Sharp is a good one too.
You know what? I would love to get both of them. All I
Yeah.
know is this. I got Amicia Ramsey to give me an interview, people. I feel blessed.
Thank you. Me too.
Before we get out of here, I appreciate you so much. Before we get out of here, if anybody wanted to follow you or connect with you, how can they do that?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at Amicia. That's AMICIA TV. That's at Amicia TV. I'm also on Facebook, even though I don't really check it, but it's still Amicia TV. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Amicia Ramsey.
Nothing else needs to be asked. Ladies and gentlemen, Amicia Ramsey on the Chris Gunther Show. Cue my theme song. I'll see y'all next time. Holla.